Crazy town. And by the way, my wife's going to be, she's making desserts for tomorrow's Thanksgiving. And you'll probably hear lots of noise, all right? So deal with it. Like that sound. You hear that sound? Listen to that. It sounds like I'm at an airport, but yes, that is what it is. It is what it is. Yep, just waiting for people to show up. And if I forget to say it, everyone have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. And Thanksgiving is really just a holiday to say thanks. You know, people make such a big political thing about it. Oh, God, it's really about the oppression of... get over yourself. You know what? Just enjoy your time with your family, all right? Puff, puff, gray. What does that mean? Smoke some dope? Yeah. Thanksgiving is to gain 5 pounds. Okay? That's it. There's no other... Hey, you hear that? It's like a drill bit sound. Well, you guys probably heard they arrested a suspect in the case of the Catholic store killing and sexual assaults. The guy that looks like he could be associated with the Delphi case. You know, like I said last night, I don't think the odds are that great, but the circumstances around him are intriguing. So let's take a look at the news.
We want to get straight to breaking developments in the investigation into the West County Catholic Supply Store attack. News 4's Russell Kinsall live for us in Imperial. And Russell, what can you tell us?
Well, neighbors tell me that St. Louis County Police took a man into custody after arriving here about 5 a.m. this morning. A man in his 50s was taken into custody, possible person of interest in the shooting, the homicide at the Catholic Supply Store in Manchester. Sky Zoom 4 is here to give you a bird's eye view of this location. This is the Quail Run Trailer Park off of Old Highway M. I'm told at one point there may have been as many as 100 police officers here at this location at a trailer in this trailer park that has an American flag and a Don't Tread on Me flag out in front of the trailer. We're told that a man and a woman live here. Neighbors say that they're nice and quiet and pleasant whenever they let their dog out and talk to other neighbors. But we are told the man is in his 50s. A neighbor saw him in handcuffs. He got in a police car and was taken away. Right now there are several detectives, vehicles here, a crime scene unit is here. Police are not saying anything here on scene, but neighbors tell us that there was a huge police presence here this morning, and they did see a man in handcuffs taken into custody. That's the situation here. We hope to gather some more information, and as soon as we get it, we'll post it on KMOV.com and on the News 4 app. Live in Imperial, Russell Kinsall, News 4.
Yeah, well, it turns out the person arrested was Thomas Bruce. And see, if you just glance at this guy, you'd think he looks a little bit like what you'd think maybe the Delphi guy looked like. We don't really see any hair in the suspect image, although the sketch put a little hair coming out. But when you see the suspect image, there's no hair there. People have always, some people say, "Oh, look at that! That's actually his hair on his head." Where really, there's a fold in it. Well, maybe some people have hair like that. No, that really wasn't his hair that we were looking at. That was either part of a hood or a hat of some kind. Now maybe he could have cut his hair, right? Although I have to say that when you look at all of his, like, here's his Facebook page right here, right? And when you look at a lot of pictures, he doesn't seem to have hair in really any of them. So I don't know when he would have ever had hair, these aren't, but here's the deal. His Facebook page is only approximately, he started posting, ironically, on February 15th of this year, which is only one day after the anniversary of the day that Abby and Libby were found. But if you look at like an image like this, he does have reddish brown hair. You see that right there? So isn't it possible that the Delphi case, the person who suggested the sketch look didn't actually see his hair, but said his goatee looked that way, so then they filled in the blanks with the hair? And listen, I'm not really a big sketch person anyways. When they say, "Oh, well, here's a sketch, look for that person," I've seen people do side-by-sides with at least 20 people, and all of them on their own, you go, gosh, wow, that does kind of look like him. But all those people put next to each other look nothing like each other. So that just means that the sketch is so generic that you can't even, it looks like everybody basically. So I'm not really into the sketches. Yeah, and look at the eye color too. Boom, right there. He's got the hazel eyes, right? You remember, see, here's all they said was his eyes are definitely not blue. Okay, so if someone's eyes look like that, you'd be able to say, well, let me go back a little bit. When they said his eyes are definitely not blue, what I got from that was that they were light and almost blue, like a hazel, but they just weren't blue. Because why would you even mention that? If they were brownish, you'd say, yeah, his eyes were brown. But the person said, well, the eyes definitely weren't blue, meaning you've seen blue eyes before, but these are a lighter tone. So I'm going to say his eyes are kind of a hazel color like this. So this guy right here actually has sort of hazily color eyes. He's got the reddish hair around his face here. He is 5'7" to 5'8". I mean, he looks like, somebody you would think maybe is the person, right? I mean, it really is. Now, like I said before, don't get your hopes up. There's no, I mean, Delphi even put out a statement on it saying, they don't have any evidence of any kind yet or anything like that. So, calm down, basically. So this right here was his first post on February 15th. It's a little bit ironic. It's only one day after Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is the day that Abby and Libby were found. Not that could just be bad luck right there. But that was a year later too. So this is 1 year. This is this Valentine's Day. It's kind of strange to be 50-something years old and just now open up an account. I'm kind of thinking he's got other accounts. Especially now that we know well, that he was arrested for being a suspect in the sexual assault and shooting of the women in the Catholic supply store. Yeah. I was getting nervous last night, though, when callers would call in. I think it's him. I think it's him. Well, I mean, it could be, right? I mean, this is the first time that I've ever done a show with an actual person of interest that I thought was it was unusual enough to actually do a show on it. And not only that, the crime he committed was interesting as well. It's amazing they caught him so quickly. Or maybe not amazing at all. Maybe he was just absolutely an idiot and just walked by about 16 different surveillance cameras and, oh, there he is, type of thing. And here's what despite suspect similarities, links between Delphi and St. Louis attacks are premature. Yes, of course they are. There's absolutely no information at this point. 53-year-old mother of 3 identified as Jamie Schmidt was killed Monday at the Catholic Supply of St. Louis store. Police in St. Louis have released a description of the suspect, but he has not been identified. Well, this is obviously prior to them catching the individual. Currently he's just the suspect, so I guess they haven't come forward unless they have. Since I gathered these earlier, I had to do work, so I don't know if there's an update. If anybody thinks there's a really recent update within the last couple hours, let me know. Let's see. Now, I did find the location where he lived, or lives. The news has a shot of him where there's a trailer park, basically, is where he lives. It's kind of strange because it's very similar to the April Tinsley. Kind of just has that look, the whole area, just a trailer park. The trailer that he lives in wasn't there when Google Earth, as you'll see right here. You see this shot right there? This is where his trailer is, and it wasn't there during this February 2018 even. I mean, that's pretty amazing because that's only 9 months ago. It just wasn't there. Now, I wonder if you go back in time, that one looks like there's actually, well, I don't know if that's just cement on the ground there. Let's see. No, it looks like that was a house. But you got trailers, though, are moved in and out, though. That's the thing. So this is February 2018, but you can move trailers in and out, and so someone probably just moved to a different trailer park. Because if you can see, like right there, that's just looks like maybe just cement right there. And there's no street view at all. Okay, that back in 2013 looks like there's nothing there either. So if you look at that, there's nothing there. There's a driveway here, and the trailer now goes about like this, and then there's some stairs on this side. This is where you park the car, and here's the trailer park. And if you look at street view, I think it might go to like right here, perhaps. Yeah. But you can't go into that. There's no, the Google Earth driver got lazy and didn't go in. A little creek right there. Not that that has anything to do with anything. I was just looking. Yeah, Google Earth driver. I like when the Google Earth drivers drive on absolutely nonsensical roads. You know, like back alleys. That's when I go, yes! Like, why in the hell? I want to get to the point where every single time I go, wow, Google Earth, why in the hell did you go back there? Yeah, so I actually have the wife's Facebook page too. Here's one image. You can see him there. See, just looking at that, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's about as big as I can make it. But he looks like, I mean, that's sort of what you expect. A little bit of a belly there. The beard. I mean, when I look at that image there, I go, whoa. You know? What do you guys think? Like I said before, the likelihood's not that great, but I think there, you know, seems to be a chance. Yeah, you can't really, I can't see it really. Oh, you can't, it's too small for you? Okay. Yeah, he's got the beard, about the same size. He's not, the thing is the bridge guy isn't some big fat guy like everybody tries to make it out. I mean, I've seen people put out comparisons where they got a guy that weighs about 300 pounds and then compare it to the bridge guy's face. And the guy doesn't look like that at all. He's not a big fat guy. All right. There, I'll load up an image. See, that's him right there. Right? That doesn't look like some big, massive guy. I had him about 5'7" or 5'8" when I did my... I placed him on the bridge, got everything lined up the same, and then tilted him sideways, did some math stuff, and I had him at like 5'7" to 5'8". That's what I got. The second time. Earlier on, I did it wrong, because I thought, if you look right there, this darkness there, I thought that that was the height of the rail, but somebody corrected me and told me that part of that shadow there is actually shadow on the bridge itself, and the height is actually a lot less. It's in there a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Like, see, the base of the bridge is really about right there, and then this is shadow on the bridge itself. So my calculation was way off originally on that one. But I remember saying, you know, I think he's, God, I don't know, 5'4"-ish, and everyone's, oh, and then they just started, I even said before, I said, listen, take this with a grain of salt. I'm just trying to first attempt at this. And my God, everybody started posting it on all the different sites. And I was like, I said, it's not even, I don't feel good about it even. Oh yeah, the puppy in the coat. Oh yeah. Yeah, replete with outline. It's awesome. Cartoon puppy is inserted into coat. This is one I brightened up a lot. Trying to see what some of this stuff is there. Remember this right here? Oh my God, it's a paddle for a canoe. No, it's sunlight hitting his pants. You see the difference there? Where's the paddle here? Well, it must be a second guy then. There's two different guys. Both those shots they released are two different people that dressed exactly the same. I've actually heard that. People really actually believed that at one point. So is there anybody here that doesn't know what we're talking about here? Okay, here's the trailer park that I was just mentioning. Now if you look, this looks pretty new, doesn't it? I mean, that looks very, very new. And oh, he's got a "Don't Tread on Me" flag. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with the American flag there. Then you've got this building over there. Now if you look at this, that's exactly how this works. Look at, there's the roof line. That's that other building. And then right here is where that new trailer is, right there, see? And then that's that other building back there. You see what I'm talking about? All right, now I'm going to move on to the other story. You know, the story we talked about last night when I thought, well, God, the guy probably killed himself and he found out his brother was having an affair with his wife. But then I thought, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see if they actually found a gun on the ground. And it turns out they didn't find a gun on the ground. Somebody killed that guy. And as I also said was, let's see what the injuries are on the people in the house. And I thought maybe they were shot, but apparently they were stabbed. And so the brother was murdered. You know, the first individual. Now, today they arrested the brother because earlier in the day he started a fire at his own home and he attempted to kill his entire family. But police are saying they're not sure if the two fires are connected. Are you kidding me? I mean, are you joking? So on the same day, miraculously, your house, I mean, a guy tries to burn his house down and kill his whole family. And then all of a sudden his brother's house is burnt down with his whole family killed inside and they burned. And his brother's outside, but they're not related. Okay. No, they said they aren't sure. Are you kidding? I mean, the odds of that are 1 in a trillion that they're not related. So you're saying there's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. All right, I'm gonna... There's a press conference on this one I'll play. Hold on a second. Oh, hold on. Forgot to transfer it.
I can confirm that Keith Canero, whose remains were found in front of the home, was shot, but I can't go any further than that at this point in time. Remember, the cause and manner of death are going to be the part and parcel of the findings that come from the medical examiner's office, and it would be premature to even discuss or speculate that until that investigation is complete. As I stand here today, we continue to work with county engineers on making sure that we can safely access the residence in Colts Neck so we can continue our forensic examination. But again, that scene remains secured with law enforcement ensuring that there's no issues with the integrity of that crime scene, so that will likely go on over the next several days. We have enlisted the support of a number of law enforcement agencies, some of which I've mentioned here, but I'd like to add a few others to that list. That includes the New Jersey State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms,
This guy's kind of
the
goofy.
New Jersey Regional Computer
I'm not
Forensics
into him.
Laboratory, and a host of other municipal police departments that work
He looks
shoulder
like he's
to shoulder
about
with these
25,
chiefs in the county
running the
that
show.
are willing to
Yeah.
share their efforts and assistance in this investigation. Now I want to change gears and I want to talk about the arson that occurred in Ocean Township on
It's
27th
probably
and
about
Tilton
37.
Drive.
I like that.
We announced that our office charged Paul J. Canero, 52-year-old of Ocean Township, with aggravated arson in the early morning hours of today. That defendant's first court appearance will be held on Wednesday, November 28th, 2018. Time and courtroom will follow, but on that date he'll have not only his initial appearance, but a detention review hearing before the court. Now, as many of you might be familiar with, aggravated arson is a second-degree crime. It carries 5 to 10 years imprisonment.
Yeah, so here is the actual complaint warrant. Within the jurisdiction of this court, they're referring to, let's see, let's get the, let's see, Christopher, well, I think this is the right one. Now, it says within the jurisdiction of this court did commit the crime of aggravated arson, specifically by purposefully or knowingly placing another person in danger of death or bodily injury, and or with the purpose of destroying a building or structure of another. To wit, the defendant did set fire to his residence by using gasoline and igniting the gasoline, causing the residence to catch fire while his wife and 2 daughters were inside. So that is the person, I can't remember, okay, is it, yeah, Paul Canero here. He's the brother of the guy that was I don't remember his name right this second, but the brother that was shot in the head, and his whole family was dead inside the house as it burned. So let's go back to this. Man, God, I hate that when it does that. Jesus.
Arson is a investigation. Now I want to change gears and I want to talk about the arson that occurred in Ocean Township on 27 Tilton Drive. We announced that our office charged Paul J. Canero, 52-year-old of Ocean Township, with aggravated arson in the early morning hours of today. That defendant's first court appearance will be held on Wednesday, November 28th, 2018. Time and courtroom will follow.
Yeah, hey, Birdman, if you can direct me to the case of the Klaus family, I'll be sure to look into it. Never heard of it.
But on that date, he'll have not only his initial appearance, but a detention review hearing before the court. Now, as many of you might be familiar with, aggravated arson
you're
is a
getting ready for
second-degree
Christmas,
crime. It
as in
carries 5
Santa
to 10
Claus.
years imprisonment. And the allegations by the state with this particular aggravated arson are captured in the affidavit that accompanies the criminal complaint that was filed earlier today, which all of you should have access to. A couple additional points before I try to answer any questions you might have. I really want to convey my thanks and gratitude to my staff that's working on this investigation, as well as all of the members of the law enforcement community that continue to work on these investigations as I speak with you here today. They're going to keep working tirelessly on this case to deliver justice to these 4 victims, and many of them will not be able to celebrate the holidays, the Thanksgiving holidays, with their families. But I have to say I'm quite honored and privileged to work with all of them, these people that take their oaths and their dedication to their job so seriously. So I'd like to commend all of them that are working on this. And thank you, gentlemen, for your team's roles in working this case. Finally, the last thing I'd like to say is to the members of the Colts Neck community. We in law enforcement know Colts Neck to be a quiet, safe, and close, tight-knit community. I am sure that you're feeling the reverberations and the traumatic and emotional effects of the loss of the Canero family, and our hearts in law enforcement go out to you. In that same vein, if anyone has any information about that arson and homicide investigation or the one in Ocean Township, I really encourage you to call us in Monmouth County Law Enforcement. With respect to the one in Colts Neck, you can call Detective Pat Petrozello at 800-733-7443. He's a detective with the prosecutor's office. Or Colts Neck Police Detective Zarillo, which a number I will provide. For the Ocean arson investigation, please call Detective Brian Weisbrot.
Yeah, but I had to flippy crap for that,
at the same number I've
just
given, 800-733-7443, or Ocean Township Detective Chris Brady at 732-531-1800. So with that, I'll try to answer any questions you might have. Just bear with us because this is an ever-evolving investigation. Yes, sir. Ron, how are you?
The question is why? Why would the suspect allegedly kill his suspect?
We're working on that. This happened less than 24 hours ago. Well, you know, we discovered this around 12:30, so it's a little bit over 24
hours. I wonder if this guy is kind of
of course, we want to answer in any of our investigations. What you're getting at is motive. But I would just caution you.
I mean, maybe he met somebody else too. Maybe he's makes.
If there is information to release to the public as to
Chris
motive,
Watts
I would
looked like
encourage you to come to the detention review hearing,
like an angel.
And if there is information at that point to disclose from the state, it'll be done at that point.
Because why would he kill his family and his brother's whole
None
family?
that I'm aware of. None that I'm
What's
aware
the point
of. Yes,
of
sir.
that?
I can't confirm or deny that at this point in time. I can only focus.
Maybe he works, because I guess him and his brother work together. I don't know if they own the company they work for, but if that's the case, then maybe he just wanted to kill everybody and do a fresh start and have all kinds of money. I don't know, but I mean, again, he was trying to kill his own kids. What's going on here?
On Paul Canero as a defendant in the Ocean Township aggravated arson that's charged. I mentioned yesterday that one of several avenues that we're considering is whether these two arsons, and by virtue of the investigation how it's involved, whether the arson and the homicide
don't
is
anybody
linked.
look up George Webb
to that. I can't
and the
confirm and
Delphi
deny it. It's the
County.
furthest I can go.
Don't look it up.
I can't comment on that. I'm sorry.
It's terrible. He's a joke.
I'm not going to get into that. I'll only say that Mr. Canero was found outside the front of the home, and the other three remains, the wife and the two children, were found inside the home. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, there you go, Joe.
I'm not going to comment on that either. I'm so sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hit that like button, everybody. Hit that like button.
Because we believe that in some form or fashion that this family was targeted. If there was an open threat to the community, if this was random violence where we felt like there was a gunman or somebody who could present a risk to the community, the first thing we would do is put that information out to the public at large. And the second thing we would do is ensure a heavy police presence in areas where we thought there was a concern. But I'm here to tell you at this point in time, I have no reason to believe that's the case. I do believe that this was a targeted situation with the Canero family.
Thank you, Becky
We're still
Starr.
developing that. I can't go any further. But if there's changes to that, we'll certainly let you know. Yes, ma'am.
Wait, hold on a second. Isn't George Webb the guy that went down, and then he started talking about garrots and all that stuff? Wasn't he that guy? He's sort of a conspiracy theorist guy on YouTube. Isn't that the guy? That's the guy that was in my head when you said it. Let me know. I'm going to pause it until somebody can let me know. Okay, I'll look it up myself.
So what you want is by the time the
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
statements by the parents to help in the investigation.
Yeah, I think I remember this guy. I don't remember if he's the... Wait, hold on. Does he show his face on here? Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about. Yeah, he's got terrible videos on the Delphi case. Okay, he went down the wrong spot. Like, what's hilarious is the guy up there said, "Oh, he's a great person to watch for good locational information." But when you watch his video, he went down the wrong path, and then he went down, and then he said, "Yeah, down the hill might have been right here." It's hilarious. It's not even on the right side of the river, nor is the same path that Abby and Libby went on. It was a joke, okay? So please don't listen to any of that kind of stuff, all right? It's absolute garbage.
That among several other aspects and avenues, but I couldn't get into it because it would be potentially evidentiary. And I don't mean to be obstructionist with y'all. You have to understand that there's going to be a possible prosecution that ensues here, so every time I go too far, I run the risk of tainting a possible jury pool. So I'm not trying to be obstructionist.
Yeah, you got that right, Joe. He's all over the place.
I don't get in my business. I said yesterday, it's a bad practice.
I mean, he's entertaining. I'll
I'm
give
going
him
to let
that.
the experts who stand behind
if
me,
you want
and investigators
information,
out there as we
forget it.
speak, do their thing before I get too far. Yes, sir. I'm sorry? It's my understanding. Yes.
See, they were business
and there was a
partners.
business out of Asbury Park.
See, there you go. They just answered that question. The two brothers were business partners. So that means if he killed his brother, made it look like something else, it didn't seem like he did that great of a job. His brother probably... You know what I wonder is if the brother was shot in the head and then he left, but the brother still survived a little bit, and then he ran outside and then he died in the lawn. But he didn't, because I think he wanted to kill them all inside the house and burn and destroy all the evidence, right? But the brother was out in the yard, on the ground. There's no way he would have allowed that. So it's almost like he got shot in the head and he kind of came to, a little bit like Travis Alexander, and he went outside, but then in this case he died from the injury.
That they ran, it had something to do with technology and possibly pest control. Stop? That was extinguished by local fire departments that responded.
Yeah, exactly, Jim.
He said he set the fire. Paul set the fire. His wife and children were inside the house.
Now, it's just a point of clarification. I said that the state has alleged that he has started the fire at his home. That's why he's charged with aggravated arson. I mean, it's obviously a determination a jury would have to make one day. But our allegations are everything we're going to mention with respect to that are captured in the complaint and affidavit. And by virtue of the fact that he's charged with second degree, we allege that there was a possible risk to family members as a result of his possibly starting that fire. Yes, Brian.
There's two questions. One, a neighbor said that the children did not go to school in the morning. Do we know what time they were killed?
No.
The murders happened in this house.
Not at this point. We're still exploring that. Remember, I mentioned earlier, Brian, that the scene hasn't been rendered safe for forensic investigators to go really in there and take the deep dive that we normally would. Once county engineers release that scene, we'll be able to go in there, we'll be able to do a more thorough arson investigation. And once we do that, questions like when we allege that the accelerant was poured, if there was one, when the fire might have started, will hopefully come into clearer picture. But at this point, we have the scene detained and secured. We're just waiting for the okay, so it's safe for investigators to be able to go in and explore that further.
The other question, under what conditions, what time was there resistance that Mr. Paul Panero was arrested or detained yesterday or tonight? Or can you say where this happened?
I'm not going to say where, but I have no reason to believe that there was any resistance to the arrest at this point in time. Yeah. In Ocean Township?
Because that doesn't exist,
Okay.
Tricia.
Chief
that
Peters is
world
confirming
is
that's right. He would know better than me, so let's correct the record and make it 5:30
society
instead.
that doesn't actually
Yeah.
exist.
Yes, I was wrong. My apologies. Yeah.
Kumbaya doesn't work.
I'm not going to comment any further on what I have. I just know it's an active and ongoing investigation. Yes, sir.
Yes, we played it on the air here.
Because,
Wendy.
you know, we work all in a team atmosphere, and this is obviously a big deal, a quadruple homicide. Don't read anything unnecessary into that. Like Monmouth, I will pride this county. We pride ourselves on working well in a team environment, and that just doesn't include local and county or state investigators, but it also includes our federal law enforcement partners.
Good eye, mate. Look at slug racing from Melbourne. Melbourne. Yeah, I actually lived in Melbourne. In Melbourne, I lived there for, 3 months. And my footy team was the Richmond Tigers, okay? That's who I liked. And Kevin Bartlett at the time. He was awesome. He was all tricky.
Now, that's a tough question. I'd probably reserve that for the fire professionals, but, you know, I realize out there that it was a pretty substantial fire. I saw it myself. There was some stories about
the Collingwood Magpies,
possibility of water shortage.
like
Let me rule
Can't
that out.
remember
The departments did a fabulous job by virtue of the fact that they extinguished it. But, hey, I'm not an expert on fires. Sometimes they get put out quickly. Sometimes they take a little while. Those guys did a great job.
Is footy still a big game over there? Because they used to play it on ESPN every once in a while, but then they quit doing it. It was always on like late night. But man, I think it's one of the greatest games ever. It's awesome.
No, like I was saying, we're still trying to get inside there. Yes.
Basketball's becoming pretty big over there too.
The names and ages is 11-year-old Jesse and 8-year-old Sophia. Jesse, and Sophia is common spelling Sophia 8. Yes.
A lot of Australia is like Mars in the middle.
Look, it's a fair question, but you know I couldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. That would go to possible evidentiary matters. I'm not confirming or denying it. It's just something I can't disclose to the public. Yes, sir. That makes two of us. Look, again, I'm not trying to pull punches or dance around you. It's just a question that I can't answer at this point in time. I can't confirm or deny whether he's a suspect. The only thing I can tell you is we are exploring the possibility that these two incidents are linked, like we mentioned yesterday.
I can buy that, G. Rosh. Especially typing in a sentence like that.
Paul is detained pending his initial appearance at the Monmouth County Correctional Institute. So on Wednesday the 28th, he'll have an initial appearance and a detention review hearing where a judge will determine whether that detention will carry over. In other words, whether he'll be remanded or released on some type of conditions.
Kumbaya, my lord.
That's something that possibly would happen on Wednesday the 28th
Not
of November.
happening.
Depends on what the defense attorney wants to do.
Oh yeah, they're still up there. They're in the description of every video that I make.
No, if that was the case, then you'd hear it from
I just
all
bought
of us
the
up
orange
here
one.
that we would be sharing our concerns with the
They're
public.
never not for
But
sale.
I have no reason to believe that's the case, and I really hope that none of you get carried
Just
away
nobody's
in that
bought
regard,
any
'cause I don't want
recently
to create
for some
a
reason.
public scare when it's not necessary. Yeah. Because, we can't charge people unless we have evidence. I told you that the scene is secured, but
I'm
we
from the
can't even
United
send
States.
largely our investigators and forensic examiners in there to look at the scene because we're waiting for county engineers to release it, to be able to tell us it's safe, the roof's not going to cave in on you, the floor's not going to cave into the basement. Bear in mind, it was a pretty substantial fire, and we do have to ensure that there's safety to the investigators before we continue on.
Clarify some of the timeline here. At 5:01, the ocean fire was called in. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right, right?
It was called in by Paul.
Can't confirm that right now, but it would be on record.
And then 12:38, the fire is called in by the landscaper.
By somebody who was working in the community. As I understand it, it was a landscaper, and then there was a big response therefrom.
Paul's family, wife and two grown children, were able to escape.
Yeah, he tried to kill his own family too, Tara.
Yes.
Are they in custody? Are they witnesses? What is their status?
I'm not going to comment on their status. The only status that I'm able ethically and legally to comment on would be the defendant who's charged with aggravated arson. Sorry? Again, I'm not...
Hey,
suspect
John
person
Lorden
of
covered
interest.
the
We are looking at
Cheryl
all
Coker
angles, but I'm not
case
in a
today,
position
by
to
the
be
way,
able
if
to
you
make
guys
those
didn't see
disclosures
it.
at this point in
You should go
time,
check
it would
it
be
out.
irresponsible of me to do so.
Getting some more attention
Because I did
from
3 questions
YouTubers.
ago. I'm hopeful that that'll come in the coming hours, and then investigative teams will be working on that place over the next 48, 72 hours or whatever.
I think
it
G.
takes.
Rosh is LJ. Well, I have my theories about the UFO that crashed in Roswell in
No.
1947.
We are tentatively identifying them based on our investigation.
I think
to
it
date.
really
But
was
when it comes to positive
a UFO,
identification and
an
confirmation,
alien spacecraft.
that usually that will most
I know it
often
sounds weird
follow
coming from
with
me,
the
but-
medical examination's completion of their report. The reality is, I understand the circumstances as we sit here today, and it's. I'm trying to share as much.
Well,
as
you're
I
making
can with
really
you, but
weird
also
comments, G.
reserve the
Rosh,
fact
that make no
conclusive or
sense.
positive
You
identification
sound
is
like that
reserved
guy.
for the medical examiners. So it's a tentative ID at this point in time. We have no reason to believe it's anyone other than those
Nah.
two children.
That was a different. You're talking about the Philadelphia experiment.
Well, like I mentioned yesterday, because they were exposed to a fire, their remains were severely burned. The question about how long it'll take the medical examiner's office, I don't know, but I know that the Middlesex County Medical Examiner's Office has deployed multiple people to work on this, and I obviously can understand that it's a priority for them just like it is for us. I'll defer to things that you've seen in the criminal complaint and the affidavit. That's as far as I can go, which is what's in the current public record, but anything beyond that, I'm not allowed to publicly disclose. Art?
You'd like to, though, wouldn't you?
That's a possibility. We're not ruling out any possibilities. It could be that's the case. It could be not. That's something that we're going to be working on. But remember, and nobody wants to get in there and solve this and investigate this more than me and the people up here in our team.
Australia separated from all the other land masses way prior, and that's why the animals in Australia are so different. All of the mammals had pouches at one point. Now you've got, you had possums, kangaroos, koala bears, what are the smaller, I can't remember the smaller kangaroos, what the hell those are called. They're like kangaroos, but they're smaller. And then there's, they even had a Tasmanian wolf that had a pouch. They all had pouches. Yeah, wallabies, there you go. Should have remembered that. They have the shoes called wallabies. But they're all totally different. 100%. I mean, like, they evolved on a completely different path, and I think that's really fascinating. As a matter of fact, Australia, I believe, is where the duck-billed platypus comes from. I mean, what a crazy-ass creature that is, right? It's got a bill, body like a beaver. Then it's got these claws that have poison in them. Like absolutely deadly poison in their little, right on side of their, it's sort of like a claw on the inside of their arm. It's nuts. Yeah, the duck-billed platypus, right. No, not the paddlefish. Platypus is what I said. Now this guy's, he's just not making much sense. Well, we'll put you on timeout. Try to gather your thoughts there, G-Rosh. As soon as you can formulate a clear sentence that's related to anything anybody's talking about, make sure you type it in. Yeah, and they lay eggs. Isn't that crazy? Like, you've got a mammal that lays eggs like a duck, but then it's got a duck bill, even though it's not a bird, but it's laying an egg like it's a bird. It's the weirdest damn creature there ever was. Yeah, unbelievable.
Teams. But we have to make sure that Colt's Neck scene is clear before we can
it's a mammal,
a much
but it
more
lays an
thorough
egg
investigation that we've done. Remember,
as if it was a bird.
Go ahead, yes, ma'am.
By having the duck bill. I mean, but it lays eggs like a lizard would too. So it's just the craziest damn thing you've ever seen.
Not that I know of.
It's sort of like this evolutionary, either a complete whacked out mistake, or it's look at this guy. Look at this team footage moron right here. Oh, look. Hey, I'm going to read his comment. Here, let's look at it. Gray, shut the F up. You're a big liar. You edited. What an idiot. Can you believe morons like that show up? These people really still believe that I edited out the Kanika Jenkins footage. And the thing is, we're not talking about that team moron. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide you on the channel, and you can go back to your little loser channel and do your stupid videos that you make. They're all embarrassing. All right, see you later. All right.
There were concerns that there might have been a housekeeper in there, but we have since established that she is alive and well, so no issues there.
I know. Let Kanika rest in peace, team footage. You're an embarrassment.
I can only tell you that if we were going to swear you in.
Yeah,
sorry.
You and Society 2 Cents making up shit every day. Keep it going.
I have no comment on that. We're undertaking a number of investigative techniques in addition to some of the general ones I've outlined. The only thing I can encourage you to do is just stay tuned. We will continue to share information transparently like we've done here. I'll take two more and then we have to get back to it.
This is a horrific scene. Can you describe where the bodies were found?
Well, I think a lady over here asked that earlier. The only thing I can comment on is that the two children and the wife were found inside the home, and the husband, Keith, was found outside the front of the home. That's the furthest I can go. No, I can't confirm or deny or even comment on anything further. The only thing I've disclosed earlier is that we are putting out that at this point in time our investigation has revealed that all 4 of them were the victim of homicidal violence prior to when the fire was set.
Huh. Are those a little bit like
Kathy, you had a
those?
question?
Let me look up that dugongs. I don't think I've ever heard that name, but maybe they're called something else.
No, I can't. It's not prudent of me to declare suspects persons of interest. The only time we get into that business is really in 2 reasons. If there's somebody who's a defendant, like we've discussed
that's
with
what I was
respect to the
thinking.
Ocean Township arson, or if we're seeking
These
the
are
public's
also
assistance on somebody
like very
that,
similar to
that
manatees,
requires-
if not
that,
the
that
same
might need
thing. That's
notification
what I
of
was
the
going to
public.
guess.
I really can't go any further. Kathy, last question. What'd you have?
Yeah, you see that? A manatee. And then a
This is
dugong.
I can speak for these gentlemen up here in the entire Monmouth community that this is one of the most heinous cases that I think they have ever investigated, that we have ever seen, and there's no shortage of that, unfortunately, in our history here. But I'm encouraged at the same time that we really do have dedicated, outstanding detectives and investigators that in their hearts they'll solve this. I mentioned earlier they want to give justice to the Canero family. That sometimes
Yeah, I mean, look at
the
that.
term is thrown around
Obviously, these
pretty
guys are
commonly
related,
in trite
right?
fashion, but we really mean it.
Yeah.
We really hope that we can solve this. So to that
That's,
end, anybody that
manatee
can
and
help in any regard,
dugong, right
any
there.
leads, even if it's an indirect something or other, please contact us in law enforcement. Any little piece of the puzzle might make a difference. If you're not comfortable communicating with law enforcement, the Monmouth County Crime Stoppers is a 501c3 charity that takes information, tips, or otherwise in completely anonymous fashion, in some cases for reward. And we don't work with them. They don't share identity or anything, but they will share tips with us. And I'm sure they're going to be plugged in on trying to help us with this one. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your patience with us. Just stay tuned. If there are further updates, we'll either put them out by social media or through our public affairs offices. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah,
Thank you all for your
that's
patience.
exactly right, Wendy.
There's one ad request, correct? Is that from today's?
It's like team footage was
Yes.
probably feeling so
Yes.
irrelevant because they haven't had anything else to do. So they come onto a channel that has absolutely nothing to do or even discussing the Kanika case. And they come on just to throw something out. Probably, we're probably doing a live right now so they could say, look what I typed in. I'm so cool. I'm so cool, everybody. Like me.
This is a mug shot. Let me just clarify. We don't release mug shots. When we release a picture of somebody who's in arrest, it's usually a driver's license picture. That's probably a driver's license picture. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Thank you all for your time. I hope you all have a good Thanksgiving. Appreciate seeing you today. Yeah, no kidding.
Can I just say, I'm with NBC and we don't want to rely on others. Is that the
What did he say? Yeah, no kidding.
Look, I can't. All for your time. I hope you all
It's
have a
weird
good
to have this little
Thanksgiving. Appreciate
audio at
seeing
the
you
end.
today. Yeah, no kidding.
Can I just say, I'm with NBC and we don't want to rely on others. Is that the family?
Look, I can't do that. You remember, I'm not even an investigator. I'm sorry. I'm just
Is
not
there
going to.
anybody on this staff that could tell us?
I'll come back out.
Thank you.
That was kind of interesting right there. A little bit. I just played the press conference. They were just kind of going over stuff. They didn't really say much of anything, just that they arrested the brother of the guy that was killed. And let's see. So Paul Canero, 51, was charged on Wednesday with aggravated arson for setting his own home alight. A fire was reported at his home in Ocean Township at 5:01 a.m. on Tuesday, and police rushed to the scene. He stayed there for hours afterwards with his wife and 2 adult daughters looking nervous and shaken. At around noon, he left the area with his wife, Susan, and was not seen there again, according to neighbors. 40 minutes later, a fire was reported at his brother Keith's mansion in Colts Neck. So you need to ask the wife of Paul here, after his fire, did he ever leave you guys alone for a few minutes? Or did you ever go near his brother's house during that time? Maybe he had you wait in the car, ma'am. Jennifer, 45, and the children who were aged... Okay, 40 minutes later, a fire was reported at Brother Keith's mansion in Colts Neck, 12 miles away. Keith, 50, was found shot dead outside the home, and his wife Jennifer and children Sophia and Jesse were inside. Boom! Jennifer, 45, the children were aged 11 and 8, had been stabbed before the house was set on fire. So this is like somebody is really enraged here. Like you went in and stabbed 2 kids and a mom and then shot, and apparently this is the brother. So what in the hell was he doing? No one has been charged in their deaths, but police say they were targeted and inquiries are ongoing. Maybe Paul paid somebody else to do that. Maybe he was going to take care of his own family, and then he maybe hired a hitman or something like that to... I mean, I just can't find a way that these two aren't related. Yeah, let's see. Oh, this is a different case here. I was like, where am I right now? Okay. Yeah, so I think this house right here is the person that got arrested's house. Matter of fact, let me put the names in there so I don't have to keep referring to him as... Okay, so Paul Canero, 51. That's this house right here. And then his brother lived right here. This is the house that burnt down with the 2 children and the wife inside that were stabbed, and then he was found outside on the ground. I suspect that he was shot inside but managed to get up and get out of the house even though he was shot in the head. Well, that's impossible, Gray. Well, no, it's not. It happens all the time, actually. Man, this does have a street view right here. So, a very nice piece of property here. Completely destroyed. And no, that's not the sad part of the story. Paul worked for Keith. That's interesting. That's interesting. So Paul worked for Keith, but they at his technology consultant firm. So maybe if Paul kills Keith, he then takes over the firm and makes the kind of money he always wanted to make. Paul worked for Keith at his technology consultant firm, Square One in Asbury Park. Let's put that one in. All right, and apparently this is where the consultant firm is. Yeah, I don't really know if it's like back there or how this works, but Yeah, could have just have an office above somewhere. Who knows? But that's the address. Well, this is also the Daily Mail, so let's not, cast that in stone at this point. The brother of New Jersey millionaire who was found murdered along with his family in their burning mansion on Tuesday has been charged with setting a fire at his own house while his wife and 2 daughters were inside hours before the killings. So this is before his brother. So it looks like this whole family right here is dead. Okay? So this guy, his wife, and the 2 kids, they were all killed. This clown right here is the killer, the brother of this guy. Paul Canero was charged with aggravated arson for the fire that was reported. Now, let's just go over this first part again. So, the brother of a New Jersey millionaire. See, look at his brother's a millionaire, right? But he probably isn't a millionaire since he worked for his brother, who was found murdered along with his family. Let's see. The brother of a New Jersey millionaire. Okay, so that's right. So the brother of a New Jersey millionaire who was found murdered. So the one that was found murdered with a gunshot in his head, he's the brother of that guy. With his family in their burning mansion on Tuesday, has been charged with setting a fire at his own house while his wife and 2 daughters were inside hours before the killing of his brother. Paul Canero, 51, was charged with aggravated arson for the fire that was reported at his own home in Ocean Township, New Jersey on Tuesday at 5 a.m. Prosecutors say he doused part of his home with gasoline from cans, then set it on fire. He has not been charged for the murders of his brother and business partner Keith, or those of Keith's wife Jennifer, 45, and their 2 children, Jesse, 11, and Sophia, 8. They were found dead at their home in Colts Neck, 12 miles from Paul's home, after a fire was reported there at 12:38 p.m. Keith was shot at least twice in the back of the head, and his wife and children, 8-year-old Sophia and 11-year-old Jesse, had been stabbed, according to NBC. So imagine that, like somebody actually stabbed these little kids here and then her too. Paul was charged with second-degree aggravated arson, which carries a maximum prison sentence of 10 years. So somebody said 20 earlier. That wasn't correct. He has not been granted bail and is waiting his first court appearance, which will take place on Wednesday. All the bodies were badly burned, and prosecutors say they were the victims of homicidal violence. Keith was found outside the home, and Jennifer and the 2 children were found inside the house. There are no other suspects, and well, here's the thing: if he was shot twice in the back of the head, that makes it a little more difficult for him to have got up and made it outside, but not impossible. The thing is why would he be shot outside? It would make so much noise, and it wouldn't have worked for burning the evidence as well. Because that's what the fire was set for, right? Was to hide the fact that there were murders inside. Although, gunshot wounds, you can never hide those. It took firefighters several hours to put out the blaze at the family house. It is still unsafe, and investigators have not yet been able to survey it yet in full. Once they do, they expect further developments. There are no other suspects. At a press conference on Wednesday, Monmouth County Prosecutor Christopher Gramacioni said, "We can't charge people unless we have evidence. We can't even send largely our investigators in there." We can't even send largely our investigators? What the hell does that mean? Well, this is Daily Mail. It remains unclear if the family was murdered before the fire was reported at Paul's house or afterwards. Yeah, that's something I was thinking about yesterday. Were they killed before? I didn't say it though, so I can't take any credit. It is unknown who called 911, but he and his wife Susan escaped unharmed, along with their 2 adult daughters. Afterwards, he sat in his car with his wife and 2 daughters. Neighbors told DailyMail.com on Wednesday they were shocked that he had been arrested and described him as a house-proud homeowner. Keith used to visit him often, they said, but had not been to his home for a while. One man, who did not wish to be named, said he believed it was unlikely that Paul would set his own house on fire because he had worked so hard on it. He also said the family seemed genuinely devastated by the fire and were grieving over the house, but that Paul made a remark about being blamed for it, which surprised him. He said, "They make it seem like it's your fault." I was like, huh? Why the hell would you say that? If I'd been him, I'd be thinking, my house is burned. How do I fix it? That's what I would have been thinking, not that they made me feel like I did it. So this is the other house, I think. Yeah, Paul's house. So let me see if I got the right house by looking at the... Let me see that again. Maybe that's from the back side. I don't know. Maybe it's not the right house. But yeah, if you were looking at it like that, that's how that would look. Let's see. I think that's it. See the tree here and the tree there. Let's look down on it. Let me get a different. Maybe I can get a different time of year. Well, I don't know, because this one has like. It's hard to say though because it's so congested in there. Let me pick a different month. Find something in a different time of year. Yeah, see, that one seemed like there's grass there, so I don't know. Like, it's hard to say, but it does seem like you've got this tree here, everything else kind of looks the same. But this is so covered in, maybe Google Earth just struggled with putting pavement right there. I don't know, but they do have this, another, like a bush right there. So that's the address that came up on different websites though, so I think I'm going to go with that. Hey, Ricky Spanish, what does that have to do with anything? Just another troll showing up? Probably. Yeah, that was a Thomas Bruce guy. So that's Paul. See, look at Paul was enamored with money, and his brother was the millionaire, right? Because it was a Catholic store shooting, Ricky. What does it have to do with anything that you said, idiot? Get out of here. Jesus. That has nothing to do with, I mean, you bring up, you were trying to be racist, you know, bringing up, oh, I mean, what does Jewish people have to do with anything about this Catholic store shooting? Yep. My wife's in there cooking up some desserts. Yes, everybody, I wish you all a good Thanksgiving. Even you, Team Footage, have a great Thanksgiving. And then when you come back, maybe try to be a productive member of society. Maybe I should put Catholic supply store. Maybe that's what he should, maybe if I put that in there. Let's see, will that help him out? Okay. Let's see. His house is loaded with surveillance camera. He also has infrared on both floors, scanning the whole house. He's nuts with technology. Everything over the top. He told me he spent $140,000 building his deck. It's stainless steel screws. It's so over the top for his neighborhood. That's why I keep saying there's no way he lit fire to his own house. I mean, I guess that's a pretty good point. He's so passionate about it. It's his baby. So to torch it, if it turns out that that's the truth, I'll be totally surprised, the man added. He also remarked on how he was ambitious but did not have the same level of success as his younger brother. That's what I was just saying a minute ago. He's jealous. He wanted the millions. He's a guy who was enamored with financial success. He liked the good stuff. He's got his girls Porsches for their first cars. Well, maybe that's why you don't have any money, idiot. That doesn't fit the profile of a person who lives in this neighborhood. I mean, the Porsche dealer comes and brings cars by and tries to sell him cars at his house. I've seen it happen. He likes to be the big shot. He's a big fish in a little pond. Although he was somebody trying to be a big fish in a little pond. His brother can afford a Colts Neck place on a piece of land. Paul's a big shot in an upper middle class neighborhood, he said. See, this guy wanted to be a big shot, and his brother is. And so he probably always felt like, why can't I have that? It remains unclear what motivated the killings. After the fire at his house, Paul and his wife Susan stood outside for around 7 hours, according to his neighbors. He said it must have been a gas leak. He had tears in his eyes. Well, no, it sounds like there's other facts there that you're leaving out. Yeah, they had just paid off their house 2 years ago. I'm sure that probably pissed off the other guy. Okay, after the fire at his house, pictured, Paul stood in the street with tears and... Okay, so this is Paul's house here. Is that the one that we have here? Let's see. Yes, so that is the right house. See? Oh, good. All right, so that was the right house. Good stuff. brothers were partners in a tech consulting firm where Keith was the CEO and founder, and Paul was the vice president. Yeah, so Keith got the CEO pay and ownership money, and Paul probably just got a salary. So he made nowhere near the same amount of money his brother did, but I'm sure he got paid quite well. He just thought he deserved more money. Both Paul and Keith married women from Staten Island because they're both from Brooklyn. It doesn't seem like his house got completely burned down, though. I mean, look at, you've got, I mean, this is after the fact. I wonder if he just kind of targeted an area that he knew his family would be in. I don't know. Something seems a little bit off, though. Like, it didn't kill his family, and then his wife and him are outside looking at the house all those hours. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some truth to, maybe he didn't do it. Maybe somebody else did. Well, that's about it for tonight, everybody. I got to go do some work. Got to check something out. Wasn't working earlier. But I wanted to just tell everybody to have a great Thanksgiving. And, you know, probably won't be doing a show tomorrow night. Unless there's some crazy breaking news. There might not be anybody watching, of course. But, you know, beware of the trolls out there, everybody. They show up all the time. Every day I get really hateful comments on all my videos. Not all of them, but especially the Kanika Jenkins videos. And you can see how crazed these people are. Look how they just sort of showed up on a video that has absolutely nothing to do with it. But yes, we do the same thing every year. And looking forward to tomorrow to eat some of that damn turkey. And I'm one of those people, I don't really like the yams that much, you know? I don't know why. I just like mashed potatoes, gravy, cranberry, and, you know, the standard stuff. Although, you know, the candied yams or whatever are standard, I've just never liked them for some reason. Yeah, let's go back to, let's go to Australia. I'm going to go to Melbourne, just for the hell of it. Do a little flyby at the end here. Oh, look at that. You can see a footy field right there. See that? That's what they look like. I think that's it. That might be cricket, though. But they're kind of oval shaped like that. Maybe this is one right here. Yeah, that's footy right there. I think. Well, I don't know. Because I know they have 2 tall poles in the middle and then 2 short ones on the side. So there's 4 poles. Man, talk about a sporting complex. Look at that. Thank you, Janice. Fine. Hey, all right, everybody. Thank you for showing up tonight, and we will see you guys tomorrow. But again, have a great Thanksgiving, and until next time, everybody, be safe out there.